and welcome back to Bookish Theories. In today's video, we'd like to make a small update about what we know so far about the lore and storyline of the upcoming AUDITION group. Just in case you're not caught up, please be aware that there will be some minor spoilers about Enhypen's Dark Moon the Blood Altar, so if you don't want surprises, please make sure to proceed with caution. Now, in the latest episode of The Howling, the show confirmed the debut of Kate, Taki, Nicholas, and Iju, as well as the number of members that the final group will actually have. In my previous videos, my personal guess was that the group was going to have 7 members, because this is what Dark Moon the Blood Altar confirmed in the Wattpad version of the story. When Hailey confronted Sue about the supernatural events taking place in Riverfield, Hailey said that him and his 6 brothers were vampires, while the 7 main players of the Sunshine City School Nightball team were werewolves instead. In Drunken Days, we saw Kay and Iju playing 2 of these characters, and from that moment on, the AUDITION lore was filled with werewolf imagery connecting the upcoming group to the werewolf concept already introduced in Enhypen's story. Following these clues, it made sense that the final group would have 7 members like described in the Blood Altar, but as it turns out, this will not be the case, because the Howling confirmed that the final group will have a total of 9 members. The first 4 will obviously be Kay, Taki, Nicholas, and Iju, while the remaining 5 will be voted by the audience among the 11 trainees who are participating in the show. Now, as little as this detail might seem, this is actually a very important clue, because it tells us that the future storyline of the AUDITION group might be very different from what we previously thought. If you have Twitter or Instagram, you might already know that Hype confirmed that the group will have their own storyline called Dark Moon the Grey City. The tagline foreshadows that we already know who they are by inviting us to listen to the sound of the howling, so if the Blood Altar focuses on the vampires, it's safe to say that the Grey City will be the spin-off dedicated to the werewolves. The pack of this story, however, will have 9 wolves instead of 7, and this might actually mean a lot of different things. Since the Blood Altar and the Grey City are both under the Dark Moon umbrella, this might mean that we're going to follow the same werewolves we met in Enhypen's story, with 2 new characters simply joining the pack at a later date. So far, the Blood Altar pack is comprised of 4 members we already know and 3 others that we know very little about. Khan, Najak, Tyle, and Angie, for instance, appeared in both the webtoon and the Wattpad, and they are the characters designed after Kay, Nicholas, Taki, and Iju. In the Wattpad, however, they also mention Ruslan, Camille, and Mahan, which are the other 3 members of the Sunshine City School pack that have been kidnapped by evil vampires. These entities call themselves Drifters, and they are responsible for a trafficking rings that sells werewolves to rich vampires that think that drinking their blood makes them stronger. Ruslan, Camille, and Mahan were taken prisoners by the Drifters, but Khan and the others joined forces with the vampires and raided the facility where these wolves were kept. Incidentally, this is also the event that was portrayed in Future Perfect, so in that episode, Enhypen successfully freed the werewolves, allowing the Sunshine City pack to finally reunite. That part of the story, however, also made sure to clarify that there's plenty of werewolves walking around the Dark Moon universe, so if the Grey City will follow the same characters, it's possible that 2 new wolves will join the team later on. Another possibility, however, is actually that the Blood Altar and the Grey City could be set in 2 different timelines, where the characters might be the same, but the events depicted might be very much different. Hybe is known for using multiple dimensions in their stories. BTS's YIONWA has countless timelines to keep in track. The Starseekers with Tomorrow by Together uses multiple dimensions as a plot device, and if you look at Enhypen's webtoon and Wattpad, even they portray different versions of their own story. The existence of multiple dimensions is even confirmed within the concepts themselves, so if this is the case for the others, chances are that the AUDITION group will be involved with different timelines just as well. For all we know, the Grey City could portray the werewolf pack in a completely different environment in comparison to the Riverfield setting of the Blood Altar. Bear in mind, in that story the wolves go to a school called Sunshine City, but the title of the new series mentions a Grey City, thus suggesting a drastic change in both environment and conditions. On the poster, moreover, we can also spot what seems to be a construction site or a mine, and this is an environment that looks very different from the ones that we are used to seeing in Dark Moon. Even if in the Blood Altar they visit dodgy towns to track the Drifters, so far there is no mention of anything that looks like the poster, so this may be a spoiler about the setting of the story to come. Even if we still don't know how connected the stories will be, however, what we do know is that they're both under the Dark Moon title, so it's likely that the wolf pack will still interact with some vampires, because in this universe both creatures exist. Whether these vampires will be an hyphen or not, we still don't know, but in the Blood Altar they actually revealed that vampires and werewolves have a long history of violence and conflict. According to Khan, for instance, werewolves have always been victims of vampires, so even if in the Blood Altar an hyphen and the Pack are frenemies, this is not the case for the other vampires. The history of conflict between these two creatures could be an important part of the story shown in the Grey City, but since we still don't know what Hybe is planning, for now we'll have to wait and see. In the meantime, however, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please think about liking and subscribing. As always, thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.